We need it. Like ice. Like oxygen. It's why we breathe it. Like water. Like
Hey everyone, I'm really excited to welcome you back here to Like a Boss podcast, Women in Tech. We've got a terrific guest today, Karina Costa. Not only has she been associated with more than 100 tech companies, but she's only just getting started. As the president of LynQ Technologies and a recent named member of their fiduciary board, LynQ Technologies is, they're connecting devices in all kinds of new ways, completely independent of existing infrastructure like wireless. So we're anxious to sit down and talk with Karina and hear a little bit more about LynQ Technologies. Hey, Karina.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Well, welcome to the show. We're so excited. You've had a terrific run lately, not only being recently named to the board, but you had a $6 million round. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, let's dive right in. So I've kind of given it a little bit away when I said, no, you guys are at 6 million. So, not small potatoes here. So tell us a little bit more about LynQ Technologies and the stage your company's at and kind of what's next.
So we are a stage company. We're based in New York. We started the company a few years ago on developing devices. So we're, mostly known for a device called the People Compass. We connect you and more together and just like find your friends anywhere without any infrastructure. Recently, we've been working on developing a broader application of the core technology behind LynQ into the development of a communication network, essentially allowing you to transmit data over long range without any infrastructure, being able to do that in a matter of being very secure and private. And our next step is really to take, scalability of this technology into many other devices. So we're focused on integration into other devices. So think of drones, tactical radios, speaker mics, military law enforcement equipment. We enable devices to be connected and transmit data securely, sort of like creating an ecosystem for private data to be transmitted.
Ooh, fantastic. So that cues up my next question kind of nicely. I mean, you're playing in the area where, things like NSA, right? No such agency and those kinds of government partnerships. Is that what you folks are seeking right now? Is additional funding or more partnerships to try to help you with that scaling and to broaden LynQ Technologies' footprint really into so many more devices and applications?
Yeah, we're sort of like in terms of the kind of like brain of the technology and the network stack. We're going to be coming out of stealth of that pretty soon. We're already working with the government directly and indirectly as well through the support of our technology in different agencies like the Air Force and the Army as well. The government was actually very quickly aware that we were doing something unique and special that they needed, and not just government institutions, but very much the industry in general badly needs a technology like this, especially when privacy issues and are becoming a harder topic nowadays, and connectivity starts being it's a commodity for any single device. So.
And it sounds like you guys, you personally have been on a meteoric rise, but it sounds like LynQ Technologies is absolutely knocking it out of the water. And no surprise. You develop technology, like you said, that protects the privacy of the communication that's being exchanged, but it also works independently. You don't need to set up the Wi-Fi tables. You don't need to set up the radar or anything else. And so that's really exciting. Tell us a little bit about sort of taking a step back, your vision, on how you're changing the world and LynQ Technologies' mission, as a whole.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That's a great question, because having experience with other startups, one thing that I always found fascinating is kind of like seeing the pattern of the most successful startups typically end up doing actually something very, very different from what they started out doing. And that's scary. And obviously, in our case, we're doing something that it's much more ambitious and audacious than what we started off technologically and from a business standpoint as well. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, right?
Exactly. Right.
It's very exciting, but it's very scary as well, without being able to be detected or intercepted. So those are things that make us very excited in terms of the applications. One of the areas we've been spending more time in the drone space, especially, I mean, as we see the world changing today with things like COVID and logistics and a bunch of other industries will change. Autonomous vehicles and automation in general are going to keep growing fast. So we are very excited to very much ride that wave and, help other innovative technologies to be able to gather and transmit data in a secure way.
And I think that really actually does raises a good point. As a founder, as an entrepreneur, you've almost got that paradox of choice, right? Do I go down this path, or I could do all of these other things, or should I do this other thing? And this partner says, well, if we do that, then we follow that. Those are hard choices to make. And it speaks to my next question is, what makes you a good leader? Because clearly you're carving a path, and you've done this a few times before. You're a serial entrepreneur. What makes you a good leader, Karina?
Well, that's a hard question too. There's being authentic. I guess that's what it comes down to. It's just I'm not anybody else. I'm the way I run the company is the way I am, and just, the way I go about life is it's very much same way in business and kind of like private, personal life. It's almost, I believe, like, humility is important. As a startup founder, the ability to learn fast and learn faster than others, not giving up. My dad used to tell me that the world is not, success is kind of like not for the ones who are better, but the ones who, don't give up.
Oh, it is. And you talk about humility and how important that is, because we know how many companies have gone down in tech in particular because they've had too much hubris. So good for you that you've recognized all of these things, from humility to audacity and, like you said, perseverance, right? I mean, overnight successes take 8 years until they happen?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about the hardest thing that you've ever had to do.
Gosh, it's related to humility. I think I learned a big lesson on humility, and I'm just going to be totally vulnerable here, because I guess, entrepreneurs sharing their own experiences, some of the most powerful, part of just being a founder. Earlier in my career, I was creating a venture. I was creating a new venture/project. It was kind of like, very much bigger than me. And at the time, I also didn't have the experience to run it, but creating it, just sort of like being the founder of something, but, at the time, not being able to lead it or just be the number one leader was something that I took. It was very, very hard for me to go over that. And I had to put, every single part of my ego aside and just, think about the program and think of, this is the thing. It's bigger than me. I want to be a contributor to something bigger. And sometimes, you may not be you're the right person, but you need help.
Tell our audience, why do you do what you do?
I love building new things, making things happen in the world. I think that's the best part of being a human.
On the bad days, what gives you the strength to keep going?
I look back and I think about all the hard days that I had before. And then I think that I made the good days happen because the hard days happen. And I just deal with it. Have an incredible amount of support. I'm fortunate to be building this company with my best friend, almost brother from another mother, and we very much support each other in the hard days, either personal or with the company. So I guess surrounding myself with people that can help in hard days, and just, mentors and friends, it's very, very important.
So let's look back. We talked about a little bit about the past and, learnings. If you could change anything, if I gave you a magic wand, would you change anything?
I think, like, one of the things I kind of regret in life, probably one of the only ones, is, and I hope my dad is not listening because it was his advice that I didn't follow, I think I would have studied engineering. I'm a business major and did a couple of masters in business related fields. And I guess, yeah, I very much crave. I obviously run with technology and, very comfortable with technological terms, but there's an intellectual curiosity for me to learn physics, for example, for which, I look back in my early 20s and I think, how come I wasn't doing that? And I was doing something else with my time. Because I feel like I don't have time to do that now, but I would definitely change, the years that I spent in school in a different field.
Yeah, you're definitely not the typical guest that we have on here. All our gals are very much tech focused, but I don't think any one of them so far has said as a child or as a teen that they wish they were doing more with physics and learning about physics. I haven't heard that yet. That's a first. All right. What book do you recommend that we read?
Rising Strong by Brene Brown. Definitely recommend.
Now, turning the tables around here, how can our audience help you? Is there anything that we can do?
We are hiring, so people with experience in enterprise sales, firmware engineering, hardware, who are interested in building some really cool stuff and being in a rocket ship trajectory. Come speak to us.
Absolutely. We'll get the word out there for sure. Now, to wrap up, the most important question, of course, to ask you, who has been a participant and a leader in so many tech companies. We want to know about your shoe style, Karina. If it was your personality, are you a boots, stilettos, sneakers, flats, or flip-flops kind of gal?
Oh my God. I think none of them.
Okay.
Maybe like ski boots. That would define me. I love skiing.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for being a guest today. And we will send people over to LynQ Technologies, which is lynq.com, to look for talent opportunities and to watch the next thing that's coming out. So we'll be looking forward to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Loralyn. Appreciate your time.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?